already? This how we doing it? This what we doing?
And since somebody got a little clip on her, and in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and
Yo,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another
I hate it, yo. I hate the passion, bro.
recap review of P Valley, brought to you by Big Gold Belt. Tonight's episode is called Snow. I don't know, is it because of the snow that Uncle Clifford found that Big L was hiding? I don't know if it's the snow because they had Tina's snow there. I don't know if it's the snow because they had Whisper White Ass. It's so many
Lord have
reasons
mercy.
why it could be called Snow, but that is the name of this episode. And again, here are my awesome co-hosts. So I'm gonna start off first with the person who told me not to start with them first. Jamal, how are you doing this evening? Friend, what's going on, friend?
Come on, friend.
Lucas always does the most. I am good. I'm just a little sleep deprived, but
A little sleep deprived.
Hey, look here, we gonna get through it.
I'm
just need a little white boy to come through, do to you what Roulette had done to her. His episode to keep you up.
I've had that already. I'm good.
What?
And
you know what?
Myth is definitely not true, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not. No, it's not. It's not true.
And next up, we have our amazing, talented, beautiful reporter from Hood News Weekly, Amaya Desire. What's going on?
Our alien superstar.
I'm feeling.
We are not going
amazing.
through anybody's renaissance.
I tanned.
Hey, listen.
I just came back from Miami and I'm tanned very well. How you feeling?
Oh, you rich vacation.
I did rich bitch shit in Miami. Okay.
Ooh,
okay.
Find me a husband.
So this is what wealth looks like.
This is what wealth looks like. Okay. Yes.
So as we start off again, episode 9 entitled Snow. And the beginning of the episode starts off with Andre embracing the strippers of Chuckalisa as they have decided that they want to do and shake whatever is necessary for you to cast a vote for Mr. Andre. So what did you two think about just this portion of the opening? I know it's another portion we're going to get into after this one, but this portion of the opening with Andre as he embraces a big part of Chuckalisa with the stripper community. And Amaya,
I mean, I mean, it was filler for me. I just said it was. I didn't,
really?
It kind of not filler in a bad way, but like it just felt kind of like it was unexpected, of course, for sure. And I was like, this is continuation from the call that Haley made from the last episode. She was like, I can't give you what you need, but Autumn Night or Keisha Savage can give you what you want, but I can give you, Autumn Savage can give you what you need. So yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I mean, again, I'm sorry to that man. Okay. I'm sorry to that man because I'm just not getting the cojones vibe from Dre in any portion of this season. It's just, you know. Oh, and yes, let's introduce our fourth party who's
I introduced her tonight because she just took her sweet ass time coming on. I don't know what is wrong with her this evening. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I was a little in my feelings about it. You know, B said you can't break my soul. She broke mine because she wasn't on time. And I'm telling everybody.
Listen.
Sheila broke my soul.
But no, seriously, I mean, it was fun. It was the fun opening. Dre is just not giving me
big dick energy.
I've never met a Dre so Brian like. I don't know. That's the name I'm gonna go with. You know.
All right, let me throw this back at you before we throw it to Jamal. Let me throw this back at you. From the opening, how much do you think plays a part of him finally embracing that community, something that they were clearly attempting to avoid? Mainly him catering to, and I don't want to say this and make it sound horrible, but him catering to what people perceive as the lowest demographic to push his candidacy forward.
I mean, no, yeah, I think that because he's been spending more time with Chuckalisa, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
one. Two, him and Haley have been having these talks, you know, and in those talks, I feel like he's embracing both sides of Haley. Like she's Haley,
Yeah.
but she's also Autumn. I mean, three sides because she's also Lakeisha Savage. So I think that he knows that there is a way to push. He knows what gets the people riling, right? In the beginning of
Yes.
the
Mm-hmm.
season, we saw the man sitting in his car. Pass the Woodbine, the Pynk. Pass the Woodbine, the Pynk one. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
they know what they're doing because this is how the setup is. It's meant for the
Mm.
Pynks to be such a staple that it's
Yeah.
necessary so for him to embrace them to get to where he needs to be.
What about you, Jamal? What did you think about the opening here with Andre, and what does it possibly mean about him embracing that community? Something that he's and Corbin has clearly avoided the whole time.
Well, for me, I feel like he took a page out of Woodbine's book and said, "Hey, if you're going to slander me, at least let me be a part of it." You know what I'm saying? Let
Mm-hmm.
me embrace what it is that you're saying about me. You know what I'm saying? Now, um, I wouldn't say he's really catering to the masses. He's just showing them, hey, I'm like y'all too. Like I get down too. I like, you know what I'm saying? Everything that you all like to indulge in, y'all like to go
Mm-hmm.
see some asses and titties. I like to go see some asses and titties. And why not let him endorse me? Because this is one of the reasons that brought me back to Chuckalisa. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to say, can I say this without getting bashed? It's like it's like Wale. You claim DC, but you grew up in Montgomery County. Like, I mean,
Wow, that is
it
so
is what it.
disrespectful.
But
Oh.
is it not true though?
I,
Is
did
it
I
not
say it
true?
wasn't? Did I
Okay.
say it wasn't?
But
Did
my
I say it
point,
wasn't?
my point to it is, and there's no disrespect, it's just a fact. My point is, like, you still come back to where you know home is home, even if
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying you've been out of touch. Now, disclaimer: I don't know how out of touch. Wale might have came back to the hood on the weekends. I don't know,
Not
but
on the weekends. I am
but
done.
I mean
I
the
knew he was
streets
going back
talk.
to Wale. I knew he was
The
going.
street talk. But I will say this: I do enjoy it because it's him trying to be as authentic as he can. Because it's like I try to paint this
Mm,
picture for you all and present this type of guy. Like I'm that guy,
Mhm.
but failing to accept the skeletons that I had in my closet. And now that
mm,
somebody else has exposed them to you all, instead of falling on my face, let me embrace it. And you all, you know what I'm saying, do what you want. If you either you're going to love me or you're still going to be against me. So I think
mm,
he played to it to his best defense to see how the public will, you know, receive him. And as they said, you know, he's been climbing up in the polls. So it's been
Mhm.
working to his advantage.
Yeah.
and yeah, that is true. And I would still say instead of Wale, he plays a lot like T Pain, since he did fall in love with a stripper.
Lord have
I'm
mercy.
just saying. Next up, we have the one, the only Black Woodbine, Tokyo Patrice. I'm trying to think of all
What?
the stripper names I could give her.
No,
Uh,
sir.
Woodbine Rose. Everything as she goes down the main street and embraces, again, as you said with Andre, she clearly here embraces everything that's come out about her. And she flips it by deciding to use the point that they actually tried to buy her off. Like
I
a
gotta
stripper, oh shit. Let me
I
finish it, then
got
I'm gonna go right to you. Like a stripper, what did you all just think about Miss Woodbine's performance and how she decided to flip it and notice the attention she was getting from the crowd that tends to be huge in the South, which is the Bible crowd in the Bible Belt area. What did you just think about that? Go ahead, Jamal, because you had something and you were trying to hold it in.
you know, I just had another nickname for her. You know, the Poe Shepherd
Mm-mm.
of Chuckalisa. You know, the lap dance Lord of Chuckalisa. I think she's still trying to still she's I think she was doing too much, to be
Well,
quite honest
clearly,
with you,
when doesn't she
because
though?
we know we it's like you've already been honest about your past. You don't have to keep bringing your past up. Like
Mm-hmm.
I get it. You've had a past. You know you come from it. You found salvation. Awesome, great. However, you were just Bible thumping and shouting against it, but you're kind of contradicting yourself by now working on a poll
Mm-hmm.
to gain attention from the masses to get their votes, and
But
also trying to spread a word. But
let me stop you
Shayla
real
is
quick
killing
though.
me.
Real quick, because
Yeah.
Shima's losing it, and Shima actually brings up a great point
I
here.
was about to mention that
Yeah, which
where
is
Sadie's got it from.
Mm-hmm.
no, not wow. That is not where I was going with that. Where
Oh,
where I was going with it is, if you pay attention, she's doing all of this, and she's projecting an image that they see her as, while at the same time preaching to people who are clearly gravitating towards it. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what if you ever have a good pastor, not a money guy,
mm-hmm.
not like the guy in Brooklyn. But if you have a good pastor, what they will do is take something they've learned as a life lesson and flip it to get your attention. Did you
Exactly.
not feel like she just wasn't doing that part of it and doing a great job of saying, "Hey, this is what they see me as, but this is the lowest common denominator they see all of us as. Let's show them something different. Let's show like the way she was doing it. She was still managing to preach, but did something showy to get your attention."
I mean, I hear what you're saying, and it sounds good, but you're still doing too much because you can still be relatable and still relate to that lifestyle without having to put on such a spectacle. Because at
What's my
the end
man
of the
who spit
day,
in his hand and a big pastor he spit in his hand as a to
oh,
show
I
to
don't
make a
know,
lesson.
and I would have been under
Exactly.
the,
That's what I mean by sometimes
and I
they do
get
too
that, and
much.
I
Yeah,
get that,
I'm
and I
not saying I'm
still
not
thought that was
disagreeing for
dumb as hell.
sure. She definitely was
Yeah,
doing way too much.
but yeah, she still is to me. I get the idea.
Hmm.
The idea sounds great, but the execution is horrible because it's like for me, you don't have to do that much to still be relatable to get your point across because you've been getting your point across. You're still leading the polls. So why do you feel the need to do that much? That's all that I'm saying. So she
Do do you
missed
think
me
it's
with Woodbine.
equal? Do you think it could be conceived as equal for both of them in the messaging at the end? Both of them kind of doing too much.
Yes, I
Andre did
will
a whole
say
video with strippers in the background dance. Like,
yeah,
come on,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
like
But
it's
see, but that's because he was a sellout and he trying to
there.
gain that
You,
clout back.
hmm.
So I get it. But I will say this though, I do respect her petty by mentioning that they tried to bribe her
And she's shooting
and
away the money that
she's
they
like
gave her.
exactly. I give her that. But other than that, I'm over it. She still could have
Mm-hmm.
gave that money away to the public with another way without
Mm-hmm.
bringing out a whole damn float with a
Hey, look here,
pole.
we had a president who was shooting paper towels at people, like he
Mm-mm.
was saying Kobe as he was doing it. Some people just
Sour
has.
cream Satan ain't my president.
Not sour
I,
cream Satan.
I was in a coma for those 4 years. I'm not even giving him
Woo,
no
child.
nothing.
Ooh, child.
Well, speaking of things being no, I can't say speaking of things being sour cream. Speaking of the best parts of this episode, we find out that grandmother is still alive, hallucinating, but still alive. I know it ain't much to talk about there, but
But
we just
barely.
wanted to bring up that she alive. Don't say barely. You
But
don't
wasn't it
test
the
my God.
call
Don't
the
test my
call
God.
at the end of the
We
episode?
don't know. We
We
don't
don't
know.
know. We don't
We
know.
don't
Child.
know.
Hold
They
on,
purposely
hope.
left it that way. All we know is grandmother is still alive and still
Thank you,
kicking.
Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So you just praise B.
Praise him.
There
Praise
you
him.
go. There you go. Up here, you being disrespectful already. Yeah, your ass go to Miami, then lose your damn mind like you don't know what to do with yourself. Get it? I get it. Get a little tan and shit. See, that's why niggas can't get tan. They get a
Whatever.
tan, they start showing off. They got titties out on the P Valley review, everything.
Wasn't that you a
Everything.
couple weeks ago?
Speaking of our next topic in the show, here we get an intimate view again of Uncle Clifford and Little Murder. The most important, or the part of this that I would like to talk about, is the advice that Uncle Clifford gives Little Murder about just advancing, about not looking back. Don't look back for me. This is your chance to get out. You're more than just a local rapper now, because he has a song that finally done caught on and done hit big. What did you just think about this whole scene? You could talk about the other stuff too with them too, but what did you think about the whole scene, especially with the advice? And I can't remember exactly what Uncle Clifford said, but damn it, if he don't be coming up with some quotes.
Man.
And it was something about tea, and damn it, it was a hell of a quote that he came up with. But what did you all think about this scene? Start with you first, Amaya.
I mean, I think that it was you. I think for the majority of these past few episodes, we've gotten to see a relationship, right? We've gotten to we've gotten to see a relationship form between Lil Murda and Uncle Clifford. I will not be repeating what my sister put in the comments because that's too
One,
much for
I
me.
ain't, I ain't never seen one of them Jones hard before. That is a very interesting image to me.
It's too much for me. Okay, but I will say that I've seen the dynamic of their relationship grow throughout these past couple of episodes, and I think that it's healthy to be in such a space where you're uncertain, but you have love, maybe, or even in love, and you also are supportive and being a cheerleader. There's so many different dynamics that they're playing for each other, even though they're still uncertain. And of course, Lil Murda is not about to really come out the closet at this moment with his career being on the rise. So I think it speaks volumes as to the being able to understand his journey, because one thing I will say is that Uncle Clifford has never pressured Lil Murda into coming out or into saying, it's always been, hey, whenever you're ready to speak your truth, then you can do that. And so I think that the advice Uncle Clifford gives is, I feel like a lot of times Uncle Clifford gives advice to people that she's actually giving to herself. Like, I don't know if you understand, you know what I mean? Like, you're talking to somebody because they need it, but what you realize is that you need it just as much. And so I like that it's not crabs in a barrel. It's, hey, listen, get out, go do you. You're being successful. This is your time to shine. Like, don't worry about me. I'll be okay. And so, I mean, that's a real thing. It's one of those, like, I love you and I want you to be happy and successful, even if that means that I don't go with you on that path.
So, Jamal, what did you think about having sex over eggs and someone not finishing or not allowing you to finish, and they answer just a random ass phone call? So what did you think about those things and the remainder of the scene here with Uncle Clifford and Lil Homer's hat?
He ain't shit.
I hate him so much.
He ain't shit.
So to answer your first question, it wasn't over eggs, but it was definitely over a table. Had that call actually came to me and had to stop in the middle of production.
Not production.
It's a whole production.
It's a spectacle.
It ain't a spectacle because I'm gonna give you a thrill, so it's a production.
That's still a spectacle.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I handles what I need to handle.
Ooh, child.
Literally.
We talk about Jamal's sex life way too much on this show for me, but go ahead.
Lucas be inquisitive. I be feeling like he got he ain't never been here, but I be feeling like there's a hidden camera somewhere. I be feeling because he be going too much. He be throwing these shots. Right. But I'm gonna keep it a buck though. What I loved about this scene, honestly, is that of course you see them having sex and everything like that. And yeah, it's hot and everything like that. However, what I think this entire season, as far as the connection with Uncle Clifford and Lil Murda, as far as their sex scenes and everything like that, what I love that the show has shown so far is, and I want people to pay attention to what I'm about to say because I love they get it messed up, the act of intimacy rather than just being intimate, because this is the moment that they're breaking down themselves and being completely unbothered, unfiltered, real, and just telling them how it is. You know what I'm saying? Allowing themselves to pretty much let their hair down. And the fact that I think with Uncle Clifford, he almost has like a self sabotage type of mentality, because it's almost like he's pushing him away by telling him, you know, when you make it, don't come back here, or don't stop yourself from going just for me. You know what I'm saying? Be that star that you could be the best that you could be. It's almost like Uncle Clifford pretty much telling him, I don't want to be your crutch as to why you didn't succeed and then you live a miserable life. So I love the fact that they show that between them two, because it's not so much of I don't think it's so much of him pushing him away, but I think it's him trying to tell him, like, don't get in your own way because of irrational ideas. Like, think logically, think smart, be about your business and make it out. That's what you've been hustling for. That's what you've been fighting for. Do that shit, do it good, and don't look back. And if we cross paths again, cool. If not, I loved you, and that's what it is. And I'm okay with letting you go.
I'll see you next lifetime.
Bye, Erica.
I might get
Bye, Bella.
Look here. Next up is another piece of Uncle Clifford giving someone great advice, as we see the struggles of Mercedes, as she is still more mentally at this point, it seems like, in her head, while climbing the pole, the fear of falling again and what that could mean. But then we see her struggle. We see Autumn basically tell her, like, Keyshawn is the bottom bitch at this point. She's the one that brings in the money, and we see Mercedes explode. We see Mercedes get extremely vulnerable with Uncle Clifford outside of the club, and him attempt to give her advice about accepting what is now and making that your new reality. What did you just think about this whole scene with Mercedes and how they kind of showed this build up over the season that was kind of leading to this point?
Absolutely.
First,
I mean, it was definitely coming. Like, we knew that it was going to happen. The moment that we saw Keyshawn from that last episode, we already knew that, you know, despite having that sisterly connection and knowing that Keyshawn needed this to get out and away from Derek, right? It still doesn't hurt any less, right? That's like somebody coming to you knowing that they hurt you and breaking up with you. Even though you know it's good for you, it doesn't hurt any less. So for this to happen, it's like, you know, she understands, man, like, and if you pay attention, like, they show her body in a way they've never shown her body before when she's outside talking to Uncle Clifford. Like, they kind of show, in a sense, how she's aged through the seasons almost. And so I thought that they were just clever in doing that, but it is Uncle Clifford's. What I also love about Uncle Clifford is that she makes sure to say in a way that's not ripping Mercedes down, right? I think there's so many times in the Black community when people are talking about, oh, I keep it 100, I'm gonna give you your truth, but they do that shit and they cut you off at the knees. They're literally, they're not trying to help you. They're actually just doing that shit to be spiteful most of the time, right? So the fact that Uncle Clifford is understanding this vulnerable moment that Mercedes is having, she's able to say, like, listen, like, it is what it is, right? You now have to decide where you're going to go from here. Are you going to stay down, or are you going to get up and find something new? And to get the text message that she gets in the midst of having had that moment with Uncle Clifford is just very interesting. And I really loved how that navigation of the scene occurred. And I know we're going to get into it, so I'm going to let Jamal take over.
I agree 1000%, because it's like, you know, no one, especially when you've been that top dog for so long, you never want to admit defeat. You never want to admit failure. And sometimes it's that, you know, getting that chip knocked off your shoulder that to humble you. And while she's been faking it and saying, I got it, nobody's gonna take my spot, nobody can beat me and everything like that, it's like, how can I put this? She was getting her ass handed to her left and right, because she's
absolutely
struggling so much to the point Keyshawn sees it. She doesn't want to make a big deal of it, but she makes it. She moves hastily to get out of the way because she sees her struggle. And then, you know, the thing about it, that well, how can I put this? To add insult to injury, you got Roulette just pretty much washing her
Hey,
in
Yeah.
yeah.
insults. So
Yeah.
when her and Uncle Clifford had that moment outside, it's like, listen, you can not be that top bitch, but still be great. But don't let it. I hate Shayla so much. She can't boom cat like she used to, but
I mean, she was doing the Pee
she
Wee Herman on the pole last week. She got a little bit of an improvement. I didn't know what she was doing up there last week. Says that the Charlie Chaplin? Like, what the fuck is Mercedes doing out
Don't do
here?
that.
oh shit. Oh god. But yeah, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? And like Amaya said, you know, for her to be going experiencing all of that, and you know, she's at a struggle now. And the thing is, she's saying out loud what other people have been saying about her, and she's finally admitting to herself, like, I should have hung my shit up 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I should have been done, done with this. But as Maya said, that text message comes through, and it kind of leaves us thinking, like, is she or will she not?
Let's jump right into it. As Farrah sends a text message to Mercedes informing her, I violated every one of our NDAs
Every one of
and
them.
all your privacy, and I have now
Jeez.
created this Mercedes experience where I guess this is her attempting to get back into good graces of Mercedes, but in the most violating way humanly possible. Like it was a thing, and yes, Shima, I was gonna get on her Tyler Perry wig.
Hey, listen,
I was too.
that
That joint
motherfucking cockatoo.
that joint was sitting on top
That
of her
gives
head.
church pew wig written all over it.
Yo,
I don't
if
know if you about to
anybody's
sing, this is your granddaddy. Like that wig was horrible.
yo,
But what did you all think about Farrah creating this Mercedes experience, and what did it mean to Mercedes? Because she was looking at some of those pictures, possibly, I don't want to sound cliche, but I've seen so many movies where they showed a woman in the background, they'd be like, remember who you are.
Oh
And
my
Mercedes
God.
was seeing this stripper pose and like,
Shut up. Shut up.
Mercedes, everything the light touches.
Oh my
shut
God.
the hell
You're not about to do this. You're not about to do this. Don't disrespect.
Since we close with you, we're going to have you start off here. What did you just think about this scene with Mercedes and Farrah and her creating this image off of all Mercedes pictures?
So I was surprised that she actually went number one. I'll say that. Two, I saw that coming. Now, a whole art exhibit, maybe not, maybe a portfolio, but not a whole art exhibit. But for it to be an art exhibit, it was so beautiful. I know I'm about to go off subject a little bit because I'm not really thinking about Mercedes, but I am. The concept of taking something that the world looks so down upon, that is mocked and demeaned so much, and making it into something so beautiful. So to the point where Mercedes comes in and she's hearing all these people in awe of it. It almost is like a boost to her confidence and her self-esteem. And, she's singing. And when Farrah comes and speaks to her and is telling her, this is, I'm leaving. What was his name? I don't know his real name.
But she Coach.
I'm leaving Coach.
And
Cedric, I think his name was, right?
Now Cedric. There you go, Wikipedia. So by her saying that she's leaving him, it's almost like a new birth to her. I wish she would have been birthed with a better headpiece, but we can't control that.
They gotta have short haircuts when they lead a man and they start anew. They didn't say it always had to be a quick haircut.
Hey, listen, I ain't gonna lie. I always tell people my mother was the first Bernadine because she surely did cut her hair off as soon as she left my father. But
that losing Isaiah wig, that was horrible.
You trying it, but no, I think it was so much strength because at that moment where Farrah and Mercedes are in front of one of the most beautiful pictures she took,
absolutely,
and she was like, I never thought I was ever going to get up on a pole because, I'm hurt and because of my shoulder. And she's like, I'm leaning to my weak side. And that's when Farrah's like, if that's your weak side, I would hate to be in a fight with you.
Right.
And that's just, I think that whole piece just spoke to strength by, even while Mercedes thinks she's weak, other people are seeing her as strong and beautiful.
Yes.
And Farrah having the strength to actually leave Coach and become her own and get back into what she actually loved to do. She became her own woman again. So I fucking loved that part of it. I think that was beautiful.
Like 15 years.
Yo, that fucking cock. If anybody watches RuPaul's Drag Race that watches this, that season when motherfucking Kennedy had, when they did some scene, if you know, you know. Look at that wig, look at that clip. It's the same wig. I promise you. I promise you. Hated it.
Oh, I
hated it about this. What did you think about this?
I had to.
Listen, run me the money. Run me that bag for like making me sign an NDA and then clearly not hello, run me whatever this exhibit brings in, and however many pieces are sold, run me that bag. That's what I was thinking, because when you walk in and they made you sign a stack of 50 million papers and they not respecting it, girl, I don't want to have sex with you. What I want you to do is give me my money. That's how I felt when I saw the scene. And then I saw all the beauty in it, like Jamal said previously.
Because the whites was just loving it. So,
they were. I wish I could be this strong. And then I could. I don't know, man. A piece of me
Jonathan
is like,
would never allow me on that pole.
I would have rather them make it so that it could have been a more diverse exhibit, like more like not just white people, because to me it feels slightly exploitive, right? Like I don't like that, because Black is beautiful and Black bends and does so many different things. The strength that comes from Black people. So to see these white people who would never step in an establishment like the Pynk, who would never look at Mercedes and give her the actual respect she deserves if they saw her in the street, to me it's just like, I get the art piece of it because it was beautifully done. You cannot take anything away from Farrah's work. But however, my thing is, why did it have to be white people giving her the praise, right? I think
to make it more accepting.
Right. Right. So I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that. That's like, when I tell people, like, they ask me would I date somebody white, it's a form. You don't want to be fetishized. And I feel like that's kind of what that was in that exhibit. It's like they adore and love the Black skin, and she's got this strength and she's beautiful. And I could never, like, you could never. But also at the same time, you saw her walk into a grocery store like that, you would be like, oh, disgusted. How could she come in? Like, and we know this for facts. So I was just, I had like many different emotions with that, but the artwork was beautifully done. The way that Farrah did the pictures, you could not, I see why she wanted to put them on display. Like, absolutely. And I think that in that moment, Mercedes was able to get her confidence, her self-esteem. She understood that perhaps that was one aspect of her life, and maybe it is coming to a close. And if it comes to a close, she can now really step back and appreciate herself in a way that she's never done before. Because sometimes you have to see yourself through other people's eyes in order to realize the strength and like what you actually hold, like that you are a diamond. Because sometimes you look in the mirror, you be like, look real cubic today. Somebody comes on like, nah, baby girl, dust yourself off. You're a diamond. So I really love that. And
you better.
And transitioning that into her being able to go to the Pynk and look at Keyshawn and say, you know what? No, I just want to admire the work. Like that, it was just so flawless. God damn it, Katori. Cheers to you. Like,
yeah.
Because talking about when Mercedes shows up at the end with the Cicely Tyson blouse on.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
Keyshawn, take your place.
Nah, but it wasn't even that though.
Oh my goodness! It was the glaring look of the proud mother and she watched her daughter just give the performance of a lifetime. Kind of like the way the blacks was watching Julia Stiles and Say the Last Dance when she was doing all of this
No.
shit.
No, 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 no. I'm not letting you do that. I'm not
You,
gonna
No.
let
no, I
you.
said the black. Y'all know
I'm
y'all thought
not.
Julia
I'm
was
not.
killing it.
No,
Y'all
no,
thought
no,
she
no,
was
no, no,
killing
no,
it.
No,
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 to
No,
hell with
no,
that.
no,
I'm
we all
never
we
going
no,
all
to
thought
no,
submit.
we all thought oh she
no,
could dance.
no. We did
Fuck
not.
No,
ass,
she
no,
wouldn't
we
let
did
her
not.
go.
No, we did not.
I
No, we
never
did not.
applaud mediocrity
Never, never.
amongst just because somebody is not of the culture. Yeah, no.
Absolutely, the
Well,
fuck
just like
not.
y'all thought that Gabrielle
No.
Union was doing it and Bring It On.
I
Okay,
didn't
same
think that
thing.
either.
Let-
I
It
didn't
was
think that
basic ass
shit
dance.
either.
Back
That's
to
all
the
it was.
point. I think that there was a sisterly moment that Mercedes has because she's not. She understands, but again, that doesn't mean that it stings any less. You are entitled. Both can be true at the same time.
Yes.
You can be upset that you are no longer the top one, that you thought you were, and also be happy that Keyshawn has now taken that place, but she's shining the way you would have wanted her to, because we know for a fact that Mercedes does not want to see her fail. She doesn't want to see anything bad happen to Keyshawn. But it doesn't mean that the sting is any less of a sting. You still got to deal with the pain that comes through it. So I
Good. I'm
feel
gonna
like,
let you jump in here
yeah,
and
go
give
ahead.
your
I
thoughts
agree,
about
but
this because you did give a great analogy earlier when you said that it's hard being the top dog and then seeing that slip away from you. But if you notice, the greats, the legends, as Mercedes is, when that happens, they can acknowledge, yes, I may not be the person I am, but and not in a disrespectful way for me saying this, but like Keyshawn is one of her kids, meaning someone who came under her and saw
all
what
these bitches
Mercedes
is my
did.
son.
Not like her, because no,
I'm
not
joking.
that
I'm
way.
joking. I'm joking. I'm
But
joking.
when someone comes and they
I'm
followed
putting
in
money
your
in Wayne.
footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, like I can now take pride as she did when she had on the preacher's wife blouse. That I can take pride in the point that she's succeeding
Mm-hmm.
because I see it as a great thing because I
Mm-hmm.
know where this is going to lead her to. But go
It's
ahead.
supposed to be like that, real quick, though,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
It's if we're talking about the parent and the child relationship, I'm supposed to succeed way past my mother because that's the whole purpose of
Exactly.
the struggle or challenges that the mom has gone through, right? So essentially, Keyshawn has surpassed even her own
Mhm.
dreams, let alone Mercedes' dreams. So she has surpassed, and now you can't help but see and look and be in awe of that. Go ahead, Jamal.
Exactly.
So, I hear what y'all saying, and I agree, but I'm not going to say I agree 100% because if y'all pay attention to what Maine says to Mercedes when he says she up there dancing like her life
It's her
depends
last
on it,
dance. Yeah.
and like it's her last dance, and Mercedes says, "Well, shit, it just might be." I think it's at that moment where she realizes that's why this is so important for her to be the headliner, and she knows where she's going to go. And it's like, you know what? I see you, and I want the best for you, and I want you to go ahead and be that and leave and do what you have to do. I cannot with Shima. I cannot with her. Those are the best wine glasses, by the way.
Fact.
But it's that moment of realizing, like, you know what? Excuse me. It's almost like Keyshawn is doing her what was it last season, her floss funeral or something like that,
Yeah.
that Mercedes didn't do, and it's like, this is yours and you're doing it and you're doing it well, do what you got to do. Like I that's what I took from it, that's what I saw from it. It's like she finally got it and she's like, yeah girl, this is your spotlight, you got that number one spot now, take it and do with it what you want, and if that means leaving, go ahead.
Right. Agree.
So do you think with this and this scene, especially, trying to say this right, because we've veered off of how it started with Farrah, and we jumped into a whole different area of it, which is still a good thing because again, that's what natural conversations do. So just to quickly close out the thoughts of Mercedes and Farrah, where do you think that can go? Where do you think those pictures truly took Mercedes to? And do you think she's going to actually eventually say, "You making money off of me"?
I think
Like
it took
I
her
need you
to.
to. It ain't necessarily about pay me, but give me my due.
Mm-hmm.
I think it gave Mercedes a way to look at herself in a different light and appreciate all that she already comes with, and knows that she
Hmm.
can leave that light, that side of her life behind. Because another thing, when Amaya was talking, but we went somewhere else with it. I'm glad you brought it back up. This is a different point for her to appreciate herself and see herself in another light, because yes, she's been a stripper for x amount of years, yes, she's been on the pole, yes, people have been looking at her on the stage of the Pink for years and years and years, but they're not looking at her as she's being looked at, and she's looking at herself now,
Hmm.
where she was looked at before lustfully and sought after, and niggas busting a nut after, you know what I'm saying, all of that, where in this exhibit she's looked at as something beautiful, you know what I'm saying, in a
Hmm.
way that is not misogynistic, that is not sexist, that is not
Mm-hmm.
overbearing,
Mm-hmm.
where she's actually looked at as a work of art. She's literal art as it's being shown, and it's beautiful, and she's saying that there's more to herself that she probably never even saw, and so she's probably thinking of another way to become what she's now seeing. And this is just an avenue for it. And I think, as far as her dealings with Farrah, I think if anything, they'll remain cool, but there might not be much of a communication between
Hmm.
the two of them. You know, it's always be like that. If I see you, I see you. If I don't, I don't.
Okay. Now we're going to definitely get back to Mercedes and her Harriet Winslow blouse later
I hate
on in the show as we allow them to really go in about the reopening of the Pink. But let's do one other quick thing before we get into the reopening of the Pink, and that is what Whisper tells Haley.
baby.
As Haley does the typical, oh my God, I made a mistake, which is I'm pregnant, let me run and throw up. The moment you see that, you kind of know someone's pregnant. But for
Mm-hmm.
Whisper to say, are you ready for twins? What do
Bitch.
you think the true implications of what this could possibly mean is going to lead into the last episode between her, Andre, and we're going to talk about this here at this point too, which is the scene with Andre's wife at the end that she sitting there, even
Mm-hmm.
though she's sitting there as Andre's kissing, and it seemed like she was judging him, but he walked in on her sucking the dick. So I'm just confused on
I'm totally confused.
yeah. So okay, what did you think about just everything with Haley this episode, Haley and Andre this episode, the potential of her being pregnant, and that end scene where the wife is looking judgment towards him for I don't know.
Child. I mean, the audacity. Anyway, let me start from the beginning. I think that, of course, to get what she wants, essentially, she has helped boost Andre's numbers in the polls, right? And so
And numbers other places too, clearly.
clearly, but yeah, she's doing what she does best. She's being a boss, right? And
Hmm.
then she has this moment where she throws up. I instantly knew. I was like, all right, okay,
Mm-hmm.
she's
Yeah.
pregnant.
Hmm.
But baby, Whisper rolling up in there talking about something. Is you ready for twins? Set me over the edge. I was like, whoop, twins. So I'm interested to see if she's even going to
Keep it.
Keep
keep,
it,
yeah,
or
keep it.
how does
Like
that work?
I'm
Well, I
I'm
mean, she lost
very
a child, so that's going to be that could be a very interesting storyline.
yes, yes. Go ahead, Jamal. I'm gonna hold my thought.
I have a question. Didn't Andre and his wife also have a miscarriage?
Oh,
I believe they did.
yeah, I think they did.
Hmm.
Uh,
This is the universe working its way back around.
I mean,
I
if you
believe
see
it
Um,
this
did.
the evolution, and then I'm gonna let y'all get into it, and then we'll go to the last topic of the show. But
mhm,
if you just think about the evolution of this relationship of Haley and Andre,
mhm.
when they first was gonna do it, he had to run out to get a condom.
Hmm.
Now he just arbitrarily shooting the club up with no issues at all.
Well,
And
it
not
could
missing
be.
no hit. Not
So
missing
I
no
It was
hit.
think,
it was the passion of that moment for them, that scene, because I'm guessing it happened in the scene that we witnessed. That
but
Could be.
so here's the thing though. We are too adult. We are too old to know that pre-cum exists, right? So like there are so many different things. We don't know that he shot the club, but we do know they had
I mean,
unprotected
he could have
sex,
drizzled in
right?
the club. It's the same thing.
But
Listen,
yes,
it only
you're right.
takes
You're
one.
right. So, but I think that I mean, at this point, like it's just is what it is. Like I'm. There's so many different ways that this can go. She
Oh,
could decide not to tell him. She
mm.
could, you know what I mean. And I sometimes I feel like when we get these screeners, there's stuff that we miss, right?
Because
That
it's not on close. There's no closed caption, people. Let me let y'all know
right.
that now.
So I
When we get
feel
these
like
episodes early, we can't watch on closed caption and read anything that's going on. But
right.
quickly,
Go
I want to
ahead.
throw this to you about this subject, then to Jamal, so we can close out this one. Do you think the possibility of them having unprotected sex is because he's completely moved on from his wife for what he witnessed when he left?
Absolutely. I mean, it's two pieces. One, he been
Mm-hmm.
wanting to smash. Two, fuck his wife, basically. Because I mean, I would be like, fuck my wife if I caught her sucking somebody's dick. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it is what it is. Now I'm not saying that. Okay, because people, that you can work through infidelity and blah blah blah. Yeah, okay,
Hey,
cool. But
Nah,
like,
that don't mean I don't love you.
hey, don't do
You ain't
it.
gonna let one little fuck.
Don't do it. Please don't do it.
I
Oh
mean, but
Lord.
there's
That
also
one
open
mistake
marriages and
take all this
everything like
away.
that. Maya, get your point across. Get your point across. We being rude. We being rude.
All I'm
Niggas.
saying is, I just feel like there's just so many different parts there's so many different ways that this can go. She could tell him, she could not tell him. She could have an abortion, she can go full term. Now, here we are with the wife, and I already knew that, like, okay, y'all, they
Yeah.
showing y'all coming in, kissing in the dark, and come on. But your bitch ass, you have no room to talk, like none. I just give zero shits about the wife in this at this point. And like her face was just not, I just don't care. Like that's just how I feel about the situation. Like I don't care. Like you don't have any room to judge. And I think it's funny because he actually will be telling the truth about, no, this is not my campaign manager, because she's
You
not,
fucking
right?
because
But
you
you
was
know what I'm
sucking your
saying?
doctor friend's penis, and I walked in.
But listen, I've been wanting to do this, and I hope that he gets some cojones and like really just tells her what it is. And listen, even if they went and filed for divorce, neither of them would get shit because they both have committed adultery. So you can just throw whatever comes with that
And the
out
wife
the
still got the
window.
money. So what's she gonna
She
get?
come from money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what difference do it make? You coming after all these weeks. You doing what? You coming to cheer your man on. Now you coming to support him. Now you coming to say I was wrong and I shouldn't have. It took you weeks. It took you weeks to show up
You
to
did
say
good. You
something.
did. I'm gonna need it to be weeks because all I can picture is you with a
The dick in your
doctor's
mouth.
penis in your mouth. So we need to give it weeks. But now I'm gonna let you two riff as we close out this show.
Hold on, because
Oh,
I ain't get my opinion.
oh shit! I'm sorry. You got 2 minutes, Jamal. Go ahead.
I think, if anything, it's going to keep her there. I think this might be the only thing that does keep Autumn there. The wife, fuck him, girl. Fuck
Fuck him, girl.
That's
Fuck him.
that's really what I'm thinking, because it's the audacity. You think you showing up and then having the nerve to have an attitude like, all you see is me kissing this bitch. You done sucked the whole nigga dick in our house, which means if you're sucking dick in our house, that means this is not the first time you sucked that dick. It's just been somewhere else.
Hello.
I'm just saying, I know niggas, but I think everything is going to play around. As much as Haley wants to continue to live this gypsy type lifestyle, she's now coming across things that are actually going to make her to settle herself and hold herself down, because she's used to being on the go. Hell, I didn't even know she was in foster care until last episode. So now that we know this is a reoccurring thing for her, this is all she knows is being on the go. How now she got to think about, well, what is life going to be like when I am stationary?
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I'm ready to see what the twins gonna look like.
Child,
Yeah.
that's something look more like her
soundtrack to these episodes, because I be thinking of songs that just match with every moment.
Lord have
Baby,
mercy.
listen.
Look, On a Run is the first thing that popped in my head when you said that with Haley.
She no longer has to be in. She's always been in survival mode, but I think this is different. This is going to this is gonna be
Or
different.
in 30 seconds, what in 30 seconds for a piece, what do you all think that this means from her last conversation with Uncle Clifford when she brought up everything with her child? And he's like, "Oh, that's in the past now. Now we see she has something to look forward to in her future and how that could push her forward. Because that now becomes her new meaning. Unfortunately, it happens with people. A child or children become your new purpose for life.
Yeah. I mean, as somebody who suffered a miscarriage, I would assume that there's a joy in being pregnant the second time around in hopes
Mhm.
that that goes full term. And so I think that she does have a lot to think about, and I don't think she's as bad. She's not as bad as she's perceived to be. I think again, she's just been in a space where it's just all been about her. And if you gotta watch your own back, you start to look a certain kind of way. Not saying she's not
Mhm.
moving like a snake, because she could do some different shit better, especially when it comes to the pink. But now I think she'll have to think a little bit differently, and then she's got a lot of it's a lot to think about. It's really a lot to think about. Just as me, like as somebody, this is just a show, but even if it was real life, that's a lot. This man is married. He's running for mayor. She doesn't really have a place to live. She's in a battle for the pink, which is part of her survival is having money for her income. It's a lot. It's a lot that's happening for her right now. So I hope that there's a moment where we have her like sit down where we can really see her process this and what her decision will be.
Okay, now this is how we're going to end this episode. I'm going to start with you first, Jamal. The
Mhm.
pink reopening.
Mm-mm.
Reopening. And I'm going to say this. I'm not going to give you no direction on what to talk about. Either you could talk about a litany of things that happen on this reopening night of the pink, or you could
You
focus
said
on
say
one
teacher.
thing. Whichever whichever portion of this whole setup of the reopening of the pink tickled your fancy. Talk about it now. Go ahead, sir.
So remember what I said a few reviews ago about places holding energy and how it never
Mm-hmm.
dies and it always manifests and comes back. This tonight, I mean, this episode in this part, this scene in the pink is that energy. That energy from Murder Night came back and with a vengeance because we see the baby mother came come through from
Mm-hmm.
Pico. No, we ain't even know she was. Yeah, he did mention she was pregnant. We see
Mm-hmm.
her come through. We see all his gang, his homeboys come through
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that. Like they all think it's something's up with Lil Murder being involved with Pico's death. Um, to me, it was just very reminiscent of the ending. Of Murder Night. How him
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and Uncle Clifford was all in each other's face, all off that jokey stuff. The thing I love so much about this though is how, as we see the relationship expand and go on with Uncle Clifford and Lil Murder, it's like he's slowly but surely letting the walls down more, and he's not as on guard on trying to hide who he is. Like he's almost about to out himself in a sense, the way he's all up in Uncle Clifford's face. But I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was funny as shit when Tina Snow, came through and flirting with Lil Murder, and how
Mm-hmm.
the exchange between the two of them went down, and her getting jealous and all of that. But to bring it all to an end, the part that really got me, of course, was Keyshawn and Diamond, because there is some
Mm-hmm.
magnetic force. There's a power. There's a being. There's an energy that we see either invade or escapes Diamond after his tryst with Keyshawn, after he saves her. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? No matter what, he's always been there to rescue her. And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that they shared that kiss, it's that moment he's always been looking for. But it's like he's risking it all because he
Right.
has this situation going on with Big Bomb. But Big Bomb got something to do with all that's going on. She's been too nosy. She knows too much. She's been saying
Mm-hmm.
little shit. She's been hearing shit. And I think she's going to be the downfall of the Pink if it's not to our favorites that we know so far. That's just
Mm.
my prediction of it. I'm being quick because I know we on a tight schedule, but
That's what I'm talking about.
that's
Look at
that's
that.
my point of it all. And let me
Amaya,
get
what are
started.
your final thoughts of the pink? Again, You could go through a litany of things, focus on whatever scenes caught the most attention or you felt are the most important. But go ahead, let us know what you thought about the re opening.
I mean, well, for me, I just felt like almost a little bit of what Jamal said for real. Lil Murder this is a flip script, right? So we had
Mm-hmm.
Lil Murder, Big Teak, and Lil Murder was
Well,
like, you thirsty, you can get out of here with all that when it came to the waitress
Mm-hmm.
and Big Teak. Now here we have the flip side of that, which is Snow and Lil Murder and Uncle Clifford being like, okay, like thanks for coming down here and blessing us, but you can go on and get your, go ahead and practice and do your little thing. So it's I think that they've just done such a great job at like connecting all of the episodes together
Mm-hmm.
and keeping it very fluid. I think the one thing that stood out for me the most is now a woman scorned, whether or not Big Bone is going to send this picture to whomever that she's trying to send the picture to that has the picture of, Montavious' ring with, with Diamond holding it.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like that one kiss can send a ripple effect through the entirety of the Pynk because it affects everybody, right? Mercedes,
Mm-hmm.
Autumn, Lil Murder, like everybody can get caught up in some one way or another. And I'm also trying to figure out whether or not I don't, to me, I don't think I heard anything clearly in Lil Murder's lyrics for the song that he sang or he rapped with Tina Snow in reference to the murder of
It wasn't. It
Pico.
wasn't in
it
that one.
wasn't.
Right,
It
that's
was
what I
in. It
thought.
was in the one that Mercedes was listening to.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So I think that it's interesting that his girlfriend or whomever was like, she could feel it in her spirit and whatnot and what have you. But I think also that's just an interesting space for the Pynk, right? Like since y'all know that these two gangs beef, like why wasn't there something preventative happening
It
um
blew up like that.
before it blew up like that? It's like if you're really taking it seriously and you don't want the Pynk to fail, you got to take certain precautions. So I just felt like it was a little bit much. But I think, hands down, my favorite part of the episode is going to be the Mercedes experience art exhibit. I love the way that
We was talking just about what happened at the re opening of the
listen.
Pink, and you done jumped to your favorite part of the episode.
All right, well,
So go
fine.
ahead.
I'm done. But no, I just think that the it
Lil
could have,
Fatty is straight, y'all.
yes,
Lil Fatty.
the grand re opening could have just
The
been,
re.
it could have went differently, and I had wanted it to go differently for Uncle Clifford's sake. And that phone call at the end that just left us on the cliffhanger, it doesn't help
Shook.
neither. So
And
you
also
know,
keep in mind that it's even with the end of the episode, the night for the Pink is not over yet. They just cut it right there because you can
Yeah.
hear DJ Never Scared still going
yes,
over there talking
yes,
about
yes.
everything else that's about to
I
happen.
thought that was
Which,
interesting that he's even back because I
mm,
thought that was very interesting. I did hear that in the background, and I was like, "This is an interesting switch up," because I thought that Big Bone was DJing, which she was at the beginning, I believe. But
That's
it's
mhm. And then
yeah,
that's
all of
why
a
I'm
sudden
confused because I
DJ
think
Never
it's a.
Scared shows up.
But does he show up, or is that just a memory? Because after Uncle Clifford uncovers the shit that Big L got going on and all that's gone on so far, along with the phone call, along
But
with
do you think
Keyshawn
he would?
leaving, maybe this is a memory of past good nights at the Pink and when it was in its glory versus what actually may be going on. I don't
I
think
don't
it's the
know.
Hoping
present day. I
I'm
think it
hoping
is a
it's
memory.
I'm hoping it's DJ Never Scared showing
I'm
up,
hoping
and
it's DJ Never
because
Scared.
Lil Murder's going
I
to hit
hope it
that
is
stage
too.
again.
Yeah,
Lil Murder's going to hit that stage again. And remember when Lil Murder was in the studio doing that song, they never showed who the producer was, but we do know that
hmm
DJ Never Scared now has become a big producer.
right.
So do you think this is the point where Little Murder lets his truth out, possibly over that mic, and it talks possibly about the killings, but it may talk about a lot of other stuff that he feels
That's
the
what I'm
need to
thinking.
get off his chest.
Yeah, I mean,
Like it's a
it's a
very
strong
interesting thing.
possibility. I
Now,
think
quickly, things we did not talk about
Big
for
L
the
getting fired.
reopen of the Pink, Big L, the drugs, how all of that works, and how Uncle Clifford at the end really didn't want to fire Big L. We did not also bring up yet Roulette and White
Was
Boy and
yeah.
where that's going with their relationship. We did not again talk about, even though we talked about her earlier and that is Mercedes with her Maxine Shaw turning a law shirt on, and how
Fucking
that plays forward going into the episode. And I want to say the last thing for the reopening we didn't talk about was the situation between Uncle Clifford and Corbin.
baby, listen, I thought we was going
And
to.
Yeah,
I
and
thought we was
why
going
that is
to.
no, that's why I told I no, I wanted you all to bring up whatever you wanted about that night and thoughts.
I
So
was getting
if you
there.
want any of these things to be part of your closing, we got 5 minutes left. Whoever wanted to take it first, take it first. Let us know your final thoughts about the episode, or if it's something we didn't touch on yet that you want to touch on a little bit more.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna shoot real quick because I talk fast. So here's what I think. I think that the situation with Big L and Uncle Clifford, we never know how Uncle Clifford's mother Beulah May died, and I think with all of that whole exchange between Uncle Clifford and Big L, that wasn't just him coming out with shit out of his ass. That might be him telling, reliving a situation that made him taking his mother out. I think that might be the reason, the way that his mother died, and that's why he's so against it, and that's why he's been such, how he's been with it. I can't remember everything he said, so I'm just gonna go with what I know. Uncle Clifford and Corbin, baby, listen, I don't know. To me, I'm sorry, but the whipping, the beating, it's just, I'm not your Negro. That is not something I enjoy, but clearly there's more to their relationship than meets the eye, because the internet been talking and they think that, oh, maybe they're related, maybe they're brothers, maybe they just say that, maybe they might have had a sexual tryst back in the day, because as you hear, Corbin says nobody does it like you. And even though the camera does not pan all the way down, your boy is rock solid. I mean,
they panned enough for you to see.
Enough for you to see, straight standing up, straight ahead, like he wants it, and he's willing to do whatever. He dropped $250 to get his ass whipped. Nigga,
$50,000 for Uncle Clifford to do that to
get his ass beat and then be bleeding. You're bleeding through a silk shirt.
Yeah,
like, dude, how bad? How much are you looking for approval? Like, what is going on? It's just tonight. Even though a lot of people might not like it, tonight was a lot, and goddamn, I'm gonna sleep good.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I just feel like I just feel like absolutely Big L. I think it was heartbreaking for Uncle Clifford for sure, because Big L is family, but I think, like Jamal says, something happened in Uncle Clifford's past where she's decided this is a hard no for me. And what we see here is somebody really implementing the boundary. Like, I told you no. And I'm serious about the no. So now, as much as this is going to pain me, like, you got to go. So, that is very interesting, of course, for sure. The beating, I definitely forgot all about them ass beatings in the first season for some weird ass reason. And I said, well, damn. And I just, everybody's got a kink. So that's all I got on that. Everybody's got a kink. As far as, Brulette and White Boy, I think that I like the fact that they didn't have sex. I will say that. I like that he's able to please her. That doesn't result in him having to dick her down, because there are a lot of guys who don't understand the art of seduction and sensuality and how you can get women to climax without only using your penis and your mouth. But I do think it's very interesting. And just keeping on Whisper for a second, the whole situation with old girl who got kicked out because she was sneezing, gave her mom, gave auntie COVID, and now Roulette has given her a stack of money, and I'm still unsure of what that stack of money means and where that's going.
Roulette said, what it meant. Yes, Roulette said, "This is your pay." I mean, Roulette about to trick her out.
That's what I figured as much, and that's what I thought. But I just, I was hoping.
I was hoping one of y'all would touch on that one. I was going to leave it open to see. Paul,
yeah, I was hoping for that. But when I saw her coming in with the outfit, the shoes, I was like, okay, that's what she did with her cutting the money. So all right, but she's also very on guard. She's built to fight. She's built to, like, she survived, but her level of survival is different from from Autumn's for sure. So I just think it's very interesting. It's it's a lot of little nicks and crannies in this episode that I'm gonna have to watch this episode at least 2 more times because there was stuff that I know for sure that I missed. I want to know what's being whispered in these walls that Big Bone is talking about. Like there's just it's a lot.
She knows way too much information.
She knows way too much because that little bump she had in the crossing paths with Keyshawn was like they be talking and they be listening too. And I'm like, damn, some thin ass walls. Like y'all need to put some stuffing in them shits. But I all in all, I hope that this doesn't turn into a crabs in a barrel situation with Big Bone, which I feel like it will. But as far as Uncle Clifford, the polls are coming up, right? So now we got to see who's going to win. The whole thing going, it's just a lot. It's a lot. And I think that even though it's a lot, they didn't do it in a way where like slaps you in the face. So I'm ready.
Possibly why this is part 1 of a 2-parter, clearly.
Yeah.
As we get it to be continued. So just like the show To Be Continues, will To Be Continue, and you can catch us again right after the episode airs. So at 1 a.m., you can tune into our review. Let us know what you think about the episode. Let us know about the ongoing questions in this episode. Did Patrice Woodbine do way too much with her performance?
That's Church Girl. That's Church Girl.
What's your thoughts of Andre and Haley and their situation? What's your thoughts of Miss Mississippi finally possibly getting away? Uncle Clifford and Lil Murder and their relationship. Plus, what are we going to possibly hear from Little Murder in the next episode? And will Mercedes get a new blouse to remind us of another 90s sitcom?
Oh, Lord.
This is all stuff we look forward to next week in what I think is episode 10. This next week is actually the finale. So it's gonna be a special night as you're gonna be tuning in to all 4 of us as Shima by popular demand is coming back to ignore all you niggas who talk trash about her the first time. And we're gonna have fun with the closing episode of P-Valley season 2. And then an hour later, or whenever you would like to, we're also bringing back that same night. Your Power Boys, as me and Najir will be reviewing Kanan season 2, episode 1, which premieres the exact same night as the finale of P-Valley. So it's going to be a big night for stars, a big night for Big Gold Belt. Thank you all for tuning in. Press like, subscribe if you feel like it. Join the super chat if you want to donate. Do whatever you want to do.
Buy the merch.
Buy the merch.
We may get a Maya to wear a shorter shirt.
Wow. I'm not subscribing to that. I'm not subscribing to that.
Oh my God.
So many things. The
podcast is coming soon. The podcast.
Thank you all for tuning in again.
Bye, guys. Peace.